Much, Bob. Well, Books by the Banks is going to be taking over the Duke Energy Convention Center this weekend, and you'll have the opportunity to meet and talk with authors, including Jennifer Holland, who joins us now. So, Jennifer, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, first of all, you started off your career with National Geographic, and then tell us what that led you into.
I've always loved animals, and I wrote a lot about natural history for National Geographic, and I still do, but I really just wanted to get into some of these stories of these unusual relationships and find out a little bit more about these behaviors and why these animals get together, and also just to entertain, because the stories really are heartwarming and fun, and people just love to read them.
Oh, they are, and I mean, we report on the stories of sometimes they'll bring in the golden retriever with maybe the lion cubs who need some extra mothering, and that's what your first book was about, is that correct?
Right. Unlikely Friendships had a lot of the same kinds of stories, and I had so many wonderful stories I didn't get to tell there. And so we use the word love a little bit lightly here. You know, I think there's a lot of overlap in our emotions and other animals' emotions, but love is kind of a tough word to apply outside of the human realm. But it's just a wonderful collection of sweet stories, and I think people will really enjoy it.
And so right now, this is some video showing Unlikely Friendships, your first book, but tomorrow you are going to be showcasing your second book, which you mentioned, Unlikely Love. So what are some of the stories that are in this follow-up book?
Well, there are a lot of dog stories, as there always are, but we also have, there's a cat.
We love man's best friend, so that's great.
And they're really empathetic and wonderful, so you might expect that. But we have a cat and a dolphin, there's a goat and a giraffe story, there's a rhinoceros and a warthog.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it really runs the gamut, and we have puppies and tortoises, puppies and hens, so all kinds of mixtures of animals that, you know, normally wouldn't necessarily befriend one another, showing a lot of affection.
And, you know, I'm sure there's unique characteristics to each story, but how would, say, a rhinoceros and a warthog meet? You know, that they would be able to form that friendship.
Right. Well, in that case, they're kept at the same wildlife facility in Africa, in Kenya. But in some cases, in the wild, they do see these sorts of things happen. And just recently, there was a bear and a wolf seen to befriend one another. I wish that had happened before this book came out. But,
oh, well, there you go. You're going to have to write a third.
The next book. But they do happen in the wild. We don't really know why. But it just makes you sort of wonder what's really going on. I think sometimes it is playing a parental role, or, you know, filling in. But I think there's also just a need for companionship, just like humans have, and you see that in nature too.
Which is so neat that you're bringing those stories to light. And for people who are interested to come out and meet you, maybe you can sign the book.
Yes, absolutely.
What are the details for tomorrow's Books at the Banks?
I will be at the Banks for the books all day, actually, signing books. I think I will scoot out a couple of times for some radio interviews, but mostly I'll be there signing, and we'll have a kiosk, and look forward to meeting people.
Perfect. Well, Jennifer, fantastic book. The idea, I love it. There's great pictures in there. Now, again, we want to repeat those details. 10 to 4 o'clock tomorrow at the Duke Energy Convention Center. You can meet Jennifer. You can check out her book. There's also going to be a lot of other authors there, and we're going to have a chance to speak with another one later on this half hour. So stay with us here on Local 12. Good morning, Cincinnati. We will be right back after the break.